Hey, what's up, guys? Today we're going to be finishing out the rest of this check camera permissions um, to check to make sure that we have all the permissions set up for our camera app. So let's get right to the code. All right. So where we kind of left off was we're getting a complaint from Xcode to get all these permissions, um, exhaust the switch statements. This one, I'm going to do setup session. That and down here we're gonna Xcode doesn't well, session and do the subbed out. All right. So the next thing is this not determined, and the way I think I did this was let me pull up the file. I can see. All right. Okay. So with this not determined, it's kind of foggy, but we know that if we don't have the permission, um, that we're gonna show the alert to get to the camera. Please check your camera positions. Enable camera positions permissions improves the experience. This we're gonna have two cases. One case, if we have camera access, then we can set everything up. But if we don't, then we get the alert. So this is gonna have a twofold, and I think this is why I didn't like this um, check, if you will, because there's an if statement in it. All right, so we got to set up the AV capture device dot request for access. Take this top one right here, request handler, and enter again. You type dot video, right? Go to this completion handler, click enter, right? So the bool, which is the true or false, is the camera access itself. So this is kind of like a capture list. So we're going to call it camera in the code. So we're going to use this one right here. So this is where that if statement comes. If camera access the bool. So we're going to deal with the true statement first, and then the false statement next. So we're gonna make sure we update it on the main thread. So dispatch main async code will be self dot capture, right? And we get the else right here. Session here else. Cut that out. All right, so with the not determined case, covers known cases, but AV. Okay, so with this, to deal with this case, all right, we're gonna have one more case. Closure. Yeah, no default. Look at that. And just as a default, we're gonna set up a capture set. So it may not know it, but like just to show the user, something's going on or something's happening, um, we'll just go ahead and set up the HUD and everything for um, the user to use or just show that there's some options there. Nobody's left in the dark about that. So yeah, I think this function is good. This method is good, and this is kind of like the hub method because when we go into building like the capture session next, um, everything goes through this and then check permissions. So that's kind of like the basis of everything. And we go through setting up the hub through check permissions. So um, that'll work. I think that'll work. So let's our next step in the developing a camera app. Cool. That one. All right. So our next session is setting up a capture session. So we kind of configure the input devices and output media. And how we do that is first set up the inputs and outputs. But I think I'm skipping ahead of one. I think we need to requesting setting up capture session. So this is how I did it in the Flash app. So starting with this right under. So I did a lazy var, var, and call it capture session. All right, it's of AV capture session type. All right, and I guess I used it. All right, so let capture. Pause that. Okay, so the reason why I did it this way, playing this will stop. Okay, right here, capture, actually having the capture actually sets up a lot of other um, options for us. And I wanted the flexibility of being able to come in um, uh, this property and be able to change whatever I wanted. So if I say capture dot, and it gives me a whole bunch of other add connection type, input, automatically configure for wide color, um, which that's an interesting. So it's a Boolean value that specifies whether the session should automatically use wide gamut color where available. Pretty cool. This capture session could do the inputs and outputs, and later when we start setting up um, the session, all these methods very valuable to us. See that whenever I set up the session. I want to check out this. So let's see what this. See what this says. All right. So this says it's a Boolean value. Once it gets set. Right. All devices and formats support capture in color space. Some devices and formats can also capture free color space, which includes a much wider gamut of colors. Wide gamut capture is appropriate for only certain capture workflows. So the property, everybody, hang on, let me pick up my little Maltese here because he wants some loving. So the wide gamut capture is appropriate for certain. This property is true, the default, and your session configuration wide gamut capture. Use session preset device active format properly to wide gamut. Oh, some cool stuff. I'll have to, but this is kind of where you can set all that. Let's see what it says. Oh, I have to play around with that. Let me uh, highlight this, and we can go back to that. So okay, getting back to the capture session. All right, so we have our capture session object here. We're gonna go function. So we're gonna create this device thingy. So let's do that. This device. Basic. Um, but you know what? I think that's why I set up. We need another variable. Capture device. Yep. Properties. Or type. That could be. So we it's empty. It's an empty variable. So you'll get to touch that and nothing right here. We'll come back to making that capture device. Uh, variable. It's not. If it's empty, then we'll it. Try catch equal device input. Device input. That throws. That's why it's going to do. All right. If capture dot can add input. Input guy. We're going to add that input. Oop. Right. Ooh. So we're gonna do try catch block. So catch her. Input, print that error out. On the method, if capture add output, the photo output. Okay, so this is where we that next variable with photo output, and I think I used it as a global variable because um, it was used by something else in the photo output method. Photo output. Photo. There's the class. All right. Now we have all right. We're still setting up this capture session, so it's kind of where we're at right now. Photo output. And if we can add photo output, then we're going to capture session, add output, photo output. And then we're going to use that to add it to our preview layer. Okay. So next is the preview layer. This is where a lot of the magic happens. Let's preview. We'll preview layer. And then right here, and it's captures that we've already captured in above, right? Now this is kind of the line. This is the line that had me hung up the most, because right now I have an iPhone 7, and when Flash came out, the iPhone X or 10 or whatever you want to call it, um, also came out, and I couldn't figure out why I was having a gap between the actual view and the bottom anchor of this whole thing. So this is the line that really gave me trouble right here. Preview layer dot video gravity. This was a big one right here. This guy right here. Summary is how the video is displayed within players layers bounds rectangle. Gave it a dot resize to aspect. That was the hardest line. I think that gave me the most difficulty of any part of this whole uh, deal. We're gonna finish out this method. The timer is up. All right, so let's get to the last parts of it. Preview layer, dot frame equals 2. dot here. Dot start. So it tells the receiver to start running after all of that. Okay. This method is used to start the flow data input box until the receiver has either completed or started running. Failed, start running. All that and start. All right. So we completed out the check permissions. We'll put that in our load view. And the reason, this is another reason, I'm using load view instead of view did load, because as I was told for performance purposes, that if you are not using storyboard and you're making or creating your own views, that load view is better to use for a performance standpoint. So if you're creating a view from scratch, use load view. So a little tidbit of advice there. We're checking out all our permissions. We're setting up our session if we're authorized. It's not determined. That's a iffy because it's on there. So if we do have permissions, we'll set up the capture session. If not, we'll give them the message. If it's denied, we'll give them the message. If it's restricted, we'll tell our user that we can't access it. Your camera's broken, and the default fall through, just in case authorization status has more methods on it or more to the enum. We'll just set it up, and then we filled out our capture session and got that all started and running. And so far, so good. We're almost there. Yep. So we'll start the next video. We'll probably get into actually setting up the device, which is I'm on the fence about being able to use the front camera. I kind of just want to use the back camera, just to lighten things up a little bit. So if you have any ideas, remember this is a full screen camera. If you're taking pictures, not really a selfie camera, but we can use it that way. But I really don't want to. But we'll see. We'll make a comment. Let me know if you want to see the camera, use the front facing camera or the rear, or only the rear facing camera. Your comments below will help with the development of this this project. So make a comment, use the front facing camera, or just keep it from the back. That way you can get the best pictures. Also let me know about that method on the capture session to automatically configure capture device for wide color. That's pretty interesting. I want to get the best, if we're going to use a JPEG format, I want to get the best color, the best camera on the camera itself. So kind of where I am. But thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Hit the like button, subscribe. That helps the channel grow. And I'll talk to you later.